Hello everyone and welcome to Tech from Zero. In this video, which is the second video on this channel, I will be breaking down some of the terms which may sound confusing and similar for cloud beginners. So let's start with term number one, resource. Now this term is mostly used in its plural form, and in general it refers to anything you possess that is useful for you. So anything you possess, whether it's an item or a skill, and it's useful for you, is counted as a resource of yours. For example, your watch is a resource of yours because it helps you spot the exact time. Books, on the other hand, are intellectual resources for my PhD. They provide quality information which adds value to my thesis. In cloud technology, for example, a resource could be a server because it helps provides the necessary capacity to host data and apps, and therefore it contributes to the volume of the cloud. A database is another cloud resource. It allows for organized data storage and thus facilitates the retrieval or modification of this data as well as other operations. So it contributes to the utility of the cloud. Term number two is infrastructure. Now, infrastructure is defined as the useful components needed for the operation of an enterprise. Let's say this enterprise is a city, which is mostly referred to when speaking about infrastructures. So the infrastructure of a city would be the collection of bridges, roads, power supplies, and so on needed so that this city would function properly. Each one of these components is a resource of the city. However, when we refer to them all together as a set, we say infrastructure. Now, in terms of cloud computing, when you surf the web, you will find the definition of the infrastructure to be the tools needed to build the cloud. Now, I'm okay with this. However, to make it a bit more clear, we would refer to the infrastructure as the set of tools. So imagine you put these resources in one box, you would label this box infrastructure. And to build the cloud here means not just to build the cloud for the sake of building the cloud. No, it's to build the cloud in order to make it operate or function properly. So fitting the general definition of infrastructure into the cloud technology, we say that the cloud infrastructure is the set of useful components needed so that later on, when these components are combined together, the cloud would operate properly. These useful components are the physical and virtual resources of the cloud. So as we said, just imagine that you pack all these resources in one box. You would label this box the cloud infrastructure, and a scenario of cloud infrastructure can be a collection of servers and other hardware and software components needed for the cloud to work well. In short, keep in mind that the infrastructure of the cloud is the set of resources essential for the operation of the cloud. This brings us to the third term, which is architecture. And this term has to do with how to build the cloud. Architecture is a term which is mostly connected to buildings, and it is the style or the manner or the design in which these buildings are made. Now, a great way to remember what a word means is by comparing it to another. So let's compare it to infrastructure. So as we covered, infrastructure is the set of resources needed to build the cloud. Now, architecture is connecting these resources together to build the cloud. Infrastructure could be the material set, and architecture is the blueprint or the plan. Endpoints. So think of a finite straight line, pure geometry. The points on both ends of this line are called endpoints. In cloud computing, an endpoint generally refers to a physical device connected and able to communicate back and forth with a network. Now, this physical device could be a laptop, could be a portable computer, could be a server, and the list also extends to, these days, non-traditional devices such as cameras, IoT devices, thermostats, and so on. All it needs for each of these devices to be called an endpoint is to be connected to a network. A scenario could be an employee working remotely from the comfort of his home while connected to his corporate's network, and the fact that he's connected to his company's network and able to communicate back and forth, send data, maybe an email, receive an email, and other files. This makes his laptop an endpoint and makes him an end user. Although there is a general understanding that an endpoint is a physical device, however, it could also be a virtual environment such as an application which enables the end user to communicate to a network. Since endpoints serve as source points or destination points, it is really easy to spot them on a network map. No information goes beyond the endpoint. Anything in between acts as an intermediary device. In other words, a medium which facilitates the transmission of data back and forth between two endpoints. Examples of intermediary devices can be a modem, can be a router, can be a firewall, and so on. Platform. No, not this one. However, it somehow got a similar function. Whenever someone is referring to Facebook, you will hear the phrase social media platform, usually, rather than social media website, because unlike traditional websites, which are static in their nature and the information flow is just one way to the user or to the public, the platform allows for a more reciprocal engagement. The platform and its users interact to create a personalized experience, which is not the case in traditional and static websites. So back to Facebook, which is a great example of a social media platform where users come together through this platform in order to interact by commenting on each other's posts. And also the Facebook allows for a more dynamic experience. It suggests content according to many factors such as what you return in their search bar or maybe your location and so on. All these factors make Facebook a social media platform. Amazon is another great example. It's an e-commerce platform where sellers and buyers come together in order to create a personalized experience. So sellers list their products on the platform and the other users, which are the consumers, are able to buy, review, and maybe return products in some cases, and so on. So platforms offer this dynamic sense, something not available through the static websites, which has the role of only letting out information to the public. The final term is system, and of course this word is used a lot by everyone, but many have used this word unconsciously. Now, what does a system mean? According to Merriam-Webster, a system is a regularly interacting or interdependent group of items forming a unified whole. So all items in this system are essential for it to exist. Take, for example, the solar system. No gravity, no one knows where we'll end up. Going a bit deeper, I found this answer on Stack Overflow to be valuable. It combines the terms we spoke about: infrastructure, architecture, and system. So it says infrastructure describes the actual set of components that make up a system, while architecture describes the design of the components and their relationships. In a nutshell, a system is built on an infrastructure that has a particular architecture, and this fits very well for the cloud because it's also a system of its kind. Now, putting all these terms together, we come to a final statement. The cloud consists of a set of resources interconnected under a certain design, turning it into a single unit of interdependent items, offering you, the client, the role of a user capable of connecting to their network through your laptop, enabling you access to cloud services through their website with the advantage of monitoring your usage, receiving notifications and alerts, reaching out for assistance, and other interaction. So now after we know what each term means, let's make it shorter and easier. The cloud consists of an infrastructure architected, turning it into a system, offering you the client, the role of an end user, therefore using your laptop as an endpoint, enabling you access to cloud services through their platform. So that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and of course we have lots of other terms that we can cover in later videos. If you want to see similar videos like this one, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe in order to be notified for the future videos.